If you would have told me 5 years ago that the baby dentist that was just begging to shadow at Smile Texas was now the sole owner of Smile Texas, I would say that's absolutely unimaginable. Looking back on all the events that took place to get me to where I am today, there's no other way to explain it other than there was fate involved in the process. I knew I wanted to be a dentist really, really young in life. I wanted to be an orthodontist because of how transformative that process was for patients. I was infatuated by my orthodontist growing up. That was my one path. I was going to be a dentist. I just didn't really know how I was going to get there. When I was 12 years old, my mom rode the MS-150, which is a bike ride from Houston to Austin. And she ended up riding next to a guy, and they were talking about what they did for a living. She was, raising her kids, and she asked him what he did, and he said, I'm an implant dentist, and I just specialize in implants. And she said, no way, that's crazy. I have an appointment next week with an implant surgeon to have an implant placed. I cracked a tooth. And he said, who is it? And she said, oh, a guy named Kline. Apparently he's the best of the best. And he looked at her kind of like dumbfounded and was like, that's me. And halfway through dental school, my mom kept telling me, you should go shadow Dr. Kline. He was awesome, his team was great, I think you'd really enjoy the practice. So I took the plunge, I called the office, somehow they let me in. This little young girl in dental school, I got to shadow Dr. Kline. And the first day I walked into surgery, he asked me how he knew me. I said, you really don't, but you and my mom rode a bike ride together. And he kind of looked at me funny, was like, you look like her. So he remembered her. And I swear, from that moment on, there was destiny in the situation. I was mind blown by how I was in this office and I got to be an associate dentist with Kline and Brett Davis. I mean, that just seems like an out of this world experience.
Hey guys, rare moment of all three doctors in the same room. Woohoo!
Working hard.
This is what we do all day.
Work hard.
And he and Dr. Davis just poured into me. The level of support that they gave me was completely unmatched. I'll never forget sitting in his office, he told me, if you give this 110%, you are gonna go from 0 to 100 overnight. And that's never been more true. Sitting here today, the sole owner of Smile Texas, I can't even express how much of an honor and privilege it is to be the person to get to carry on the legacy of Smile Texas the way that Dr. Kline would have wanted it. When we got the news that he was no longer with us, it was sort of a fight or flight moment. We need to have leadership. That was the biggest and most challenging part of this. How do we do everything in our power to keep Smile Texas what it is and what it was always meant to be and what Dr. Kline would want it to be? At the end of the day, we want nothing but to make him proud. We have to choose to carry on an incredible legacy that was built here over the last 20 years. Smile Texas is going to live on forever. It's going to be a wild ride. There's a lot of big things coming. I'm just so excited to be able to finally share the news that it's official and that the Smile Texas family is staying together.